Yes.
Of course.
What took you so long to go into this aspect of your business?
What, oh, that's a great question. It was probably the acquisition of other retail stores that distracted me from going into this side of the business. But I will tell you, it was the challenges of operating 5 retail storefronts, really reorganizing the company this year, that caused us to think about other ways that we could bring revenue into the business without increasing our overhead costs. We've done a number of different things to do that on sort of the Main Street level, but technology was something that really interested me, really started interesting me at the beginning of this year. I'm kind of late to the game, but I found out about Uber and Airbnb this year. Was fascinated by their concepts, and I thought, we can do something for the wedding industry with that similar model.
How do you, who is your target market, and how do you plan to engage with that target market to want to join?
Do you want to share that?
Our target market, if you were to look at the demographics, it tends to be 22 to 60, men and women both. In the last 10 years, I would say men are just as involved now in the planning process as the women. And because of our current businesses, one thing that's beautiful about the wedding industry is it is recession-proof. It's kind of like funerals and taxes, they still happen. And so we're able to, through our digital marketing, we are able to target the parts of the country and the age groups and different status changes through social media formats, that we can be very direct in our marketing so that we are able to get them to come to our site. There's very key words that you can use that turn them on in a second. And we also know the algorithm of their planning. So there's actually specific times of day that people plan. The average bride right now is actually planning 7 hours a week at work per wedding. So there you go. If you have any staff members that are getting married, you might want to look over their shoulder at what they're doing.
Who do you feel is your competitors?
So right now, I would say we're looking at eBay as a competitor. In terms of the buy-sell model, The Knot and Wedding Wire are both marketplaces, but they're specific to connecting wedding professionals with actual consumers. They're not exchanging merchandise, but we will have a planning component on our site as well, so they're definitely a competition.
Speaking of competitors, Mark Ingram, I don't know if you
Yes, I know Mark.
He started something like 5 years ago, kind of like Guilt.
Mhm.
Did that fizzle out? Is that
It
so?
has, because I used to be a member.
Yeah, so my question is, describe, obviously, there was a program that was kind of like Guilt, one of those members only, and you can come and buy goods like this, but like a flash sale. So how is this going to work? If you could describe, what is, if I was a store and I joined, what is that like? And if I was a consumer, and how is this B2B and how's the B2C working? Like, just like an example.
Okay, so I'll start with the retail wholesale just because that's my background, and then we can go into wedding pros and consumers. But essentially, if your store is Karen, okay, and you're sitting on probably 3 dressing rooms full of product that you have no idea what to do, all right, we're gonna reach out to you, and we're gonna invite you to come to House of Maya online, create a storefront, okay, so you're basically extending your own business into the technology arena. Your storefront is managed by you. You can upload as many products as you want. You can upload as many images of each product that you want. You create your own pricing. You create your own terms. You create different perks, incentives. If you want to have a flash sale, you can do all of that from your storefront. We have nothing to do with that. When you approach it in that manner, we're taking 30% of the sale and you're getting 70% of the sale, which on bricks and mortar, consignment right now is 50-50, so it's really a better deal, and you're opening yourself up to a global market, essentially. Now, if you're a really big store, okay, and we've been talking to a couple of stores, I'll use one for example, there's a store in LA, and this woman has 3 storage units full of gowns, and 5 bags of bridesmaid dresses is what she has told me. So she's like, I don't have time for this, how am I gonna do this? So she's gonna ship us all of her merchandise, we're gonna create her storefront for her. We're going to upload the images for her and get her on her merry way. She can continue to manage it as new products come in that are discontinued. In that scenario, we take 70% of the transaction, and she takes 30% of the transaction. And for a lot of big retailers and wholesalers, they just want to get rid of the product. I mean, if they can make a little dollar off of it, it's great. But essentially, they're paying for storage space that they really can't afford. You know, they don't know what to do with the inventory. If they can get a little money back, that helps them with their operations for their bricks and mortar locations. It's very similar with wholesalers. So with our smaller design houses, like Matthew Christopher's is going to join us, you know, he's a small design house, so they're actually creating their own storefront, and they're doing it right now, and they're going to run very similar to a retailer, okay? We've brokered a deal with Moncherie, and as you know, Moncherie has probably 35 brands under his label, right? So we've negotiated to be the first company to access their overstock inventory before they open it up to their retailers, jobbers, and then end up sending it back to China. So in that scenario, we're buying wedding gowns for like pennies on the dollar. So a gown that would cost me $600, I'm now paying $99 for. We own that merchandise, we will upload it and sell it on the site.
Do you have any revenue so far?
No, we are pre-revenue, we launched January 15th.
All right, can I follow that up with a question? You're trying to raise $500,000 for 20%. Based on what you just said, what makes you think your business is worth $2.5 million?
Well, I think it's worth $2.5 million because we are, first of all, we are experts in the field. So we're not just launching this out of the blue. I think the earning potential, and we can share certainly our pro forma with you, our projections with you, are extremely conservative. Like I said, we end the year at $4.7 million in revenue, generally speaking. And you know, technology companies are valued about 10 to 12 times their revenue. So that's a really good number that we're looking at there. And you know, we have the connections already to bring users to the site. And we're presently working with about 30 different businesses that are uploading product to our site right now. So when we turn that light switch on January 15th, we will have thousands of units on that site to sell immediately.
That's, I think, one of the key components for our business is the fact that while this is a new business to us, we had hard data to be able to project from. Just in the small area here in Hampton Roads, we average 7,000 transactions in a year. And the average of that, so we were able to, be able to configure that. And then we were also able, based upon the fact that we have a store right now that sells sample and consignment. While this is on a much grander scale, again, it was hard numbers that we were able to come to the details that we have in the presentation today. It's not like we're sort of speculating what will happen. I mean, we have a hard sample of what happens right here with the bricks and mortar, and then we can be able to project that based upon how many people we feel we can reach each month with the users, and then converting them to actual buyers and sellers.
I want to add to that too. As Jennifer mentioned, one of our stores is actually a consignment and sample store. I bought it from another woman who moved out of the market last year, but she created that store to address this problem. So we're basically just taking that problem and opening it up to a global market through an online marketplace. It is my fastest growing store. So we are seeing that buying gently used or used wedding goods is just fine for people. It's actually a trend. This sort of upcycling, recycling, reusing, or repurposing is really big right now, and it's not just in the wedding industry. Though I work mostly with consumers in my consignment, so these are brides that have gotten married and then come in and consign their wedding gown with us, and we're gonna make 50% and they're gonna make 50%. I actually work with some designers as well, who I have very long relationships with, and have contacted me and said, can we consign with you? We have samples from the runway, we have samples from our showroom, we have dresses that didn't make the collection. We're also sitting on all of this merchandise, and it's expensive merchandise. So we've got, just in our Main Street store alone, we've got some business relationships already established. These companies will move to the online component.
I know the lady up front asked about how the consumer portion would work. Can you explain how that consumer, I don't think she said anything in regards to how that function would work. From my understanding and listening to what you got going on, it kind of reminds me of a Shopify but it's niche towards the wedding market. And I think where you're gonna run into the challenges is as far as the technology piece and the functionality, because you talked about a lot of facets that people may find difficult, rather if they're the business who is looking to put their storefront up there, or if the consumer wants to be like, hey, I want to try to figure out how can I streamline and get everything I want to get took care of in regards to my wedding on your website. So I wanted to see if you can elaborate a little bit more on that, because I think that's going to be your biggest challenge.
So we have different phases of development. The initial phase that we're working on right now is strictly the storefronts, whether it's a consumer or it's a business, and creating that storefront. From the planning component that's coming into this, and because of my background, eventually, yes, when we get into the second and third phases of this, we do want to make it a platform in which they can really basically have everything in one spot. It's so much that we can offer. We do have to take it in sections. We do have to take it in sections. And this is the bulk of where, you know, this is our MVP right here, and that's where we need to start. But we do have plans to add on to this as we go.
I would like to add too that as far as how it works for the consumers, it's very much like eBay. Okay, so that's where the eBay model comes in, that buy sell. So, a bride gets done with her wedding, it was sort of DIY, she's got linen, she has chandeliers, she's got mason jars, whatnot. She wants to sell it, okay? She goes onto the site, creates a selling profile, and in that profile she can put in keywords. She can put in beach wedding, mason jars, blue, turquoise, and gold, whatever it is, right? And then a bride that wants to look at the site and purchase things can create a buying profile, and she can put in beach wedding, turquoise, blue, gold, looking for mason jars, whatnot. The algorithms that we have built into the site will then connect these buyers and sellers faster, as opposed to weeding through pages and pages and pages of product that they're really not interested in.
So how do you, maybe I'm just a horrible consumer, but
I know it.
how do you stop the inspire and bounce? So I come to your site, I get this great idea, and then I go out to eBay and find it, or Amazon. And then how do you stop the end around of someone who's got a storefront there saying, you know what, contact me offline and I'll give you a deeper discount because I can avoid paying you the 30%.
Sure. So, two things. One, we do find, if they're going to be in control of making the prices for their product, then I would think they would, make it very competitive. Eventually, we will, just as eBay has now and some of the Amazon products for selling, it'll suggest a price to be competitive with what might be going on in the market, so that we can contain them and keep them there and stop them from going someplace else to find that item. In addition to that, there is some legalities that they're going to have to agree to as far as the terms of use, and so they will not be able legally to go and make deals offline. That's not to say that it won't happen, but with some of the paperwork and things that they're going to have to sign online when they're involved in the process, it is not going to be allowed if they are signing the buyer and seller agreement.
They also don't have to put any contact information up. So, the contact can come directly through our marketplace. Again, for a lot of businesses, they just want to get rid of this stuff. They want it to be easy. It's gone, okay? They've lost the money on it. It's just about cash coming in at this point. So the nice thing about how we've created the storefronts is it can also be anonymous. So you understand this as a retailer. We have authorized retailer agreements with some of our wholesalers, and we have to sell in the stores only, and we have a protected market. So if I want to create a storefront here and I don't want it to be muddled with what I have going on my bricks and mortar, I can actually create, Susie's Bridal Outlet, even though my store name is, Susie's Bridal Couture is what it is. So there is some delineation and differentiation that the business has power over.
So on the legal side, and people sign this agreement, but I have a storefront here, and a person came to my store, either has seen the dress from whenever, back when, and now it's on the website, because it might sit in my store. Can I sell that to her face to face at whatever the price, or do I have to give it the price and then pay you guys? I would-
If you have it listed on the site, the transaction should go to the site. And this is something that, and we even run into this now. Sometimes people come into our stores and they're just below the price point of the lowest price point we offer and what they're searching for. And we really, at this time, we don't have anywhere to send them to get a gown of the caliber of what we like to associate ourselves with our brand. So it is nice that now we will have the ability, because we have our own excess inventory that we're gonna be uploading to the site as well, to be able to say, I'm sorry, I don't have that here anymore, or I don't have something in that price range, but if you go to our outlet, which is online, that's what we're calling our storefront, you would be able to find something in that price range there.
So how do we handle the returns and the try-on and the whole, that's.
So we're setting those terms. When a seller comes on to create their storefront, they have to sign off on all these terms. Right now, we're going with a 72-hour return policy. And then, so that hopefully eliminates them using this stuff and then, trying to return it. And, if there's a problem with the garment, once it's returned, the first step is that the people that own the storefront and the consumer are gonna try to hash that out. In the event that they can't, then we get involved. So we have a customer service department that would handle all of that.
And with the try-on, the measurements that you spoke to, it's similar to, anything else that you have to order online and figure out in your measurement chart, where does that fit in. The beauty though is, let's say, you did your best, you got it home, you didn't like it, and you sat with it for 72 hours trying to decide if you liked it or not, and you didn't return it in that window, then at that time, you always have the option to sell it yourself, create a storefront and sell it. So there is that opportunity. There's so many hands up.
That's a good thing,
Oh, good.
but I'll go.
Okay, Dan.
Well, number one, I just want to compliment you, awesome presentation, very professional, so you guys did a great job. Because this solves a problem, I think, in the industry, definitely, or attempts to solve a problem, but my concern is this. Number one, I got a question, but my concern is there's a finite number of brides every year. You mentioned the engagements, the brides. So we're all just, we're just carving up market share. You're taking it from one to the other and that kind of thing. So you can't really create one that doesn't exist. So what has been your reaction from the industry yourself? Do you have support there or resistance?
We put a couple things up here. So I will tell you, we rolled this out at New York Fashion Week in October. We met with about 50 wholesalers and retailers just to see if they would be interested in using something like this. It was overwhelmingly, people fell in love with it. Literally, it was one of those moments. I remember getting in the taxi and saying, have you ever had that moment where somebody has invented something and you're like, why didn't I think of that? I had that moment. Like, people were going, why didn't I think of that? So we were really excited. And the excess inventory, I don't know how it is in other industries, it's a dark secret, okay? There's some kind of shame that is, associated with it. Talking to some of these, we're working with a shoe company right now to get her storefront up and running. She has 31,000 pairs of overstock shoes. First of all, it's like, you need to fire your buyer. I don't know why I have 31,000 pairs of overstock shoes. But she's gonna leverage House of Maya online to sell those shoes.
So the problem in this industry is everything is white, okay? So, and I remember when I used to have inventory and you just couldn't get rid of it, I'm thinking, well, can I take it home and like make a shower curtain out of it? What are you gonna do with all this fabric? I mean, it doesn't even suit, it's not even suitable. And people will say, well, it's not like you can sell somebody another sweater. Well, take two, you'll wear it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's an industry specific kind of problem.
Sorry,
In doing our research, particularly with the wholesale part of the business, because we're retail, so we wanted to get to know wholesale a little bit more, I was just shocked to find out that after overstock, these companies do one of two things. They either burn the merchandise, because it's a tax write-off for them, or they put them on containers and send them back to China. So, that's how much excess there is that even when they've done overstock, even when the jobbers have come in and just loaded up their 18-wheelers or U-Hauls, they still have all of this product and then they're either gonna burn it or send it back to China.
Just to speak to, you had said there's only a certain number of brides, and that is true. What's wonderful about it is it's constantly regenerating itself.
Yes.
But the other thing too is that there is sometimes 2 and 3 looks that a bride will create for a wedding. So while she may go and spend a certain amount for her first look, they want to change their outfit again when they cut the cake. She's nodding in the back. They want to change their outfit again when they leave. Some of us have 4 outfits for their wedding.
I'm in the industry.
It was a little occupational hazard, but, so the opportunity though to not break the bank and come and pick something out that's excellent quality that could create a second look. And it's not just wedding gowns. We are taking formal wear in general, bridesmaids, evening gowns, cocktail wear, tuxedos. We have a relationship with our wholesaler Tuxedo. He will also be participating in this. So it isn't just wedding dresses, but everything will be in one spot for wedding.
And it's wedding
How do we
products too.
overcome that sample size problem, which the typical dresses are cut in what they call a 10, which if you're lucky fits like a 6, maybe a 4 or 6. So people, there's a lot of girls who are bigger than a size 6.
So that is something that has been an issue. Fortunately for us, we have Julie Moran, and she was a buyer for several different designers. And so she has actually purposely sought out different retail establishments that we know have samples in an array of sizes, so that we will be able to have a plethora of sizes to choose from.
We also look to the consumers to fill that as well. I mean,
Absolutely.
so while we might be a little bit constrained as far as sizing goes, consumers come in all shapes and sizes. So, you know, if we can build the consumer base, and we plan on doing that, like I said, with our multi-pronged marketing initiatives, they're gonna fill 0s, 2s, 6s, 24, 30, whatnot. So that's gonna balance out sort of what the businesses bring to the table.
Oh, you fine, go ahead.
The other thing that I just want to add too is that this is also a platform for wedding professionals. So we're talking caterers, event rental companies, wedding designers, restaurants, you name it. We've met with about 25 local wedding businesses, and they've all expressed interest in selling their stuff.
You ought to have a little place on your website. You need to get some piece goods and then sell little, or just send out samples for people to do gussets.
That's a great idea. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, I know you've had your hand up.
So, I got married probably 4 years ago. So, my question is, now, of course, I came in with all these ideas of what I wanted for my wedding dress, and none of them ended up anything like what I got.
Typical.
And I was quick to turn out a dress. I only tried on 6 dresses. Now, if I go through this, that means I have to order 6 dresses and return 6 dresses. And I don't know about anyone else, but I hate returning things from online. So my question is, I think that especially for first brides, the dress is gonna be hard to buy online. It's, you know, no one's there to help you try it on, no one's there to give you advice. Unless someone comes over to help you put it on, the thing's heavy, it's hard to get in, it's hard to get out. I mean, you know, I remember the lady was standing on the chair, like lifting it off of me. I mean, they're
Starting to
huge.
share.
There's the consumer.
So my question is, in your projections, what percentage of this is gowns that you're accounting for, and what percent is everything else? Because I think the majority of what people are gonna buy online are not gonna be the gown. I think the gown is probably still gonna be, you need someone to help you with.
I'm gonna challenge you on that front.
Okay.
And we have not broken that out specifically, but we can certainly do that.
Okay.
As gowns and other
Yeah,
products.
we
So-
have, we did a range as far as the average
Okay.
spend, because some people literally will just be buying votive candles. Others will be buying engagement rings and bands that will be thousands and thousands of dollars. So we tried to, again, based on our data that we have in sales, come to what would be an average spend, knowing
Okay.
that there would be much above and below as well.
What's the average spend?
Roughly
Okay.
500.
All right.
So I'm gonna challenge you on that a little bit, because if the price is right, a bride will buy it. If it's the designer she wants, she will buy it. And I say that because we did a sample sale at one of my high-end stores, Pure English. And the designer was Haley Page. And Haley Page is the it name right now in the industry. The dress we were selling was 40% off the retail price. We did nothing to market it other than put the dress on our Facebook page. Do you know we sold it to a bride in Canada? We had 4 inquiries on that gown and 3 of them were out of the country. And we ended up selling it to a bride in Canada. Brides want what brides want. If that girl wants a Vera Wang wedding gown, she's gonna get a Vera Wang wedding gown. People have asked me, well, is this just for brides on a budget? First of all, everybody has a budget, okay? But there are women out there that want that $15,000 wedding gown, but their budget's only $6,000. They're gonna come here and look for that dress for $6,000 or a dress like it. So I do think because this is sort of a discounted option for the consumer, they're more likely to buy it.
These are consumers who already went to the store and tried things on.
That's right.
And they found a dress they love and they can't afford it.
Well, and here's the thing, today they're bold about it. We have people come into our stores on a daily basis that say, I'm just gonna try on here, but I'm gonna go buy my dress online. And I'm like, okay, well, no,
Thank
you're
you so
not.
much.
I mean, they're very bold, but they don't even care anymore, so.
I just have one more point too, and this is different even than 6 years ago, you said you got married?
4.
4 years ago. We are in a time now, in particular, where the age group, the target market that's getting married, they have never known any different than to be able to search something online and purchase that. They're extremely comfortable with it, they don't question it, they don't have any issue or anything that holds them back. And that's just gonna be continuing to increase, so that is also something that I think we have in our favor. Go ahead.
So if I'm a seller and I build my storefront on your site, do I have my own domain? Do I go to your domain?
It's, you have your own domain.
Okay, so do I have to do my own advertising for my
No,
domain?
because that's the beauty of it, is that you have your own domain, but we do all the marketing and advertising.
But your search engine optimization will be, for my domain, won't be, nobody's gonna go directly to my domain.
So-
Search engine optimized, taking advantage of all of the other wedding stuff that you have
Right.
coming into your website, right? So,
Yeah.
Okay, so in working with our CTO, when you search teal, pintuck, linen, there will be, because of those search words, your actual listing on the site is going to come up in a Google search, the way that they're designing it. So instead of going to like the homepage of us, they'll go right to your storefront.
okay, the other thing I have is, so you have multiple storefronts all essentially competing with each other, and they might have the same product. How are you gonna, when somebody searches, how are you gonna decide who shows up first, who shows up second, who shows up third, even if they might even price it similarly? You know, how are you gonna compete within the site?
Go ahead.
Okay, so we do have on our homepage, I don't, do you want to pull up?
Well, I don't
On our homepage, we do have, like a scrolling bar that lists all new products. So anything that's new is just sort of scrolling through, so people are gonna have an opportunity to click on that first. We have a master inventory. So even though you have your storefront and I have my storefront, if I'm a bride and I'm looking at A-line wedding gowns in a size 8 ivory, all the gowns that are specific to that are searchable. So it just depends on which one she wants. So your A-line size 8 is gonna come up, your A-line size 8 is
But
gonna come up.
who's first? Because she's probably gonna
Right,
she's
so-
probably gonna look at the first one first, the second one second, and somebody's gonna be on the second page. How do I make sure that I get on the first page of your site and not, because they're gonna wanna compete with each other.
Right,
So we haven't built this in yet, but you can pay for it.
right. So,
I mean, at this point, I'm not lying. So
we're
I just-
getting into, yes, so,
Getting into pricing at
right
this point.
now, it is, the way that it's done is that when it populates based upon the search, it alternates. So everyone has sort of a random chance of getting up to the top. To phase 3 down the road, that is actually gonna be one of our, revenue sources, is for people to be able to pay, to be on the site is free, to list on the site is free. But if you want that search ability, then you would be paying extra for that.
Okay.
So if you don't get the $500,000 investment, what is gonna get delayed?
So, really, the launch itself will get delayed. We're still developing the site itself. We really feel like we're taking the investments on a rolling basis, so just so you know, as the money comes in, it's going to development and marketing. We do have our first check coming in next week, so that will automatically help us. we really feel like a good $100,000 is gonna get us right where we need to be to start effectively marketing it and gaining consumers. But obviously, the more money we have, the more we can do.
And we have been able to, the website is, for its first phase, the launch phase, is 95% completed. So we're going to be able to launch without the 500,000. We would certainly have a much easier ride if we started to get more portions of that. But thanks to the bricks and mortar and the current industry that we have been able to fund ourselves up to this point of development.
Yes.
Do you have any intellectual property? Because you mentioned earlier, they're saying, well, why didn't I think of that? Well, there are a lot of people now thinking about it.
Right.
And how do you protect your idea from all the others?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So our site, as I said, is really robust. Right now it's got about 40,000 pages on the back end. It does sit on the Amazon platform. And we're going to market with a site like that much sooner than somebody else could. So if tomorrow somebody's like, I want to do that, it's probably going to take them 18 months to even get to where we are. With our relationships and the ability to make this business to business, business to consumer, and consumer to consumer, you would literally have to be me. You would have to have the team and the relationships that we have to exactly duplicate this, okay? My goal is to be acquired or go IPO in 3 to 5 years. So if I'm Google, Amazon, The Knot, Wedding Wire, eBay, I'm not gonna go duplicate this website. I'm gonna come and ask you if I can buy the website. So, I mean, that's essentially what our goal is.
And also too, as we progress phase 2, phase 3, we do have some patent concepts.
You have some patents?
Not yet.
We have
Concepts
ideas, yeah.
that we are working into the mix. So that's down the road, and one of them has to do with one of the issues that you brought up. So so it's being developed already. The concepts and ideas are being worked on already by our developers.
Yes.
Yeah, going back to Brittany's question on the wedding dress, it seems to me obviously that's an expensive item that you carry. But to me, utilizing technology, as you said, I could see something would be helpful as far as a 3D type photography that you would take the person, would send you 4 pictures, various angles, and then the dress would be superimposed on that person to say, okay, yeah, I see that, it looks good on me. Now, like Brittany said, it may be a little tough getting on and off, but my wife is always, how do I look? How does this look on me? More so than I'm having a tough time getting in and out of it. That doesn't seem to be as high of a criteria. But again, just the idea.
That's essentially what we're working on.
Okay.
That is the patented
Very nice.
idea that we are creating.
I understand you guys, it sounds like you guys spent a lot of money already in regards to the development of the website. I guess what my concern is, I just want to try to go to the website. Have you guys, what has been your MVP to say, hey, this thing is gonna rock? What has been the model to say, hey, is it something you can do as simple as, hey, you could get something like a simple Shopify page and list a couple of gowns from such and such and such, or a wedding planner, because it sounds like this is gonna be a marketplace. Could you use something as a minimum viable product, say, hey, to show that this model is gonna work, by the investment? I wanna know if you guys did the MVP model.
I mean, have you built your own eBay store to test to see if
Yes,
people-
we have, and we are actually, I wish we could pull this. If you wanna go to your phone or computer, if you go to dev.houseofmayaonline.com, it shows you the site, it shows you, we have some of our products showing right now. We're not the only ones creating storefronts right now. We are working with other businesses right now to create their storefronts. They're giving us the feedback. Is it easy to use? Are there things missing? Are there defining points missing? Filters, are there filters missing? Can I run a PO quickly? Can I process this transaction quickly? So we're working with all different types of wedding businesses right now to create their storefront so that they can give us feedback on whether or not they think it's easy to use, and they'll continue to use it. Like we've said, the feedback we've gotten so far with people uploading and people that are going to do this has been outstanding.
I think too, because there are marketplace platforms, massive, eBay, entered into a marketplace. And so, when you, I actually, this was kind of a joke one night, but, you know, going to the Facebook market, for example, and just searching on wedding, you know, we are not reinventing the wheel, and that there are smaller scale, kind of all over the place, where people are selling gowns, people are selling their wedding decor. We are bringing it together in one place where they can get everything wedding in one place. I don't want to go on eBay and be distracted by lawnmowers and a veil and all these other things I'm trying to search for. And that's part of what we are trying to create, is that it is just wedding items. I don't have to weed through the noise. And we're better quality. Some of the images that I was sharing with the girls on Facebook, I won't even describe what these girls in the background and all the things I noticed in their home, what was captured in these images when they were trying to sell their dress. So to be able to market to providing a wonderful experience, which is what you want when you're planning a wedding, that too is something that we're creating that's not currently out there right now, and being able to just minimize some of that that's scattered all over the place, bringing it all to one platform.
I also want to speak to buyer, the comfort of the buyer on our site. You know, we have a very strong reputation in Hampton Roads. We actually have a really strong reputation across the country. We're known in the wedding industry nationwide. So, you know, it's the consumer can research our company and know that we are reputable people. The businesses already have confidence in us, so that's why they're going to leverage the site. The other thing that I think is really important is that when you shop on House of Maya online, you're still supporting small businesses. While it is an internet transaction, you're still helping all the mom and pop shops that run stores all across the country. So we really feel like, you know, we're offering something unique to our local, you know, our Main Street storefronts. I mean, I've read articles, many articles this year about if you want to stay relevant in business, if you're a small business owner, particularly a restaurant or a retailer, you need to add technology to your business in some way, shape, or form. We're enabling these businesses to do that at no cost to them. And then they can reap, you know, the benefits of unloading this inventory that they otherwise have no idea what to do with.
My question is, actually I have two. One of them is the major brands, are they gonna have problem with you selling their products for cheaper, because in that case they are gonna sell less of their products?
So
because
the
the bride
brands have joined us on this. A lot of the major brands have joined us. And again, as far as the businesses go, I can't help what a consumer does. If a bride buys a gown and never wears it and puts that gown up online to sell, that's her prerogative, it's new. But as far as the businesses go, this is specifically overstock, discontinued merchandise that cannot be bought in a Main Street store, okay? So if I'm the bride that wants that brand new Vera Wang, I'm gonna go into Vera Wang to buy that dress. It's gonna be very unlikely that she's gonna find that dress online. If she just wants to wear Vera Wang, because Vera Wang is a big name, she'll come here and find a Vera Wang gown that suits her budget and suits her look, and then she's on her merry way.
Well, that's good. And the other question is, do you have an option for buying local? Like, can I click on your website, or I want the local site so I can go try and buy it?
So we do not yet. We will most likely be adding that component. Right now, we do not have that, but that is something that we have talked about integrating, absolutely.
So I want to say, first of all, this is a fantastic business idea. People outside the bridal business, because it's very unlike other retail businesses. You have to buy all these what we call sample gowns. Bridal retailers pay full price for these goods, and they sit there, and let's say for some reason it's not made for a short girl or a busty girl or something, this dress just sits there. You really cannot get rid of it. And I might have paid $1,000 for it, and I just can't get rid of it. So it is a huge problem in the industry for both retailers and manufacturers. And frankly, if you've got Steve's, I'm just thinking he's going to have sizes in his goods. You're going to be able to do that size 14 girl. But we're running out of time, so I want to ask you, what can Many Cups do for you?
So your feedback has been fantastic, so we really appreciate that. We love continued feedback and questions. And again, we are searching for investors, so anybody that wants to write a check, we'd be more than happy to take it to help us get to where we want to be.
For your next $1,999,000 cups of coffee after today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.